Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. Grave Visitations here. So today I'm in, as you can see, Daniel O'Connell's tower behind me in Glasnevin Cemetery in Dublin, and it's coming close to 1 year since I started one of my first videos on my channel, and one of my first videos was actually here in Glasnevin Cemetery. So I'm back here today to do a couple of walkabouts here and read some headstones. Right guys, so we'll read a couple of these monuments and headstones here in Glasnevin, and we have a beautiful one here of a nun, it looks like, and it says, of your charity pray for the soul of Catherine Duggan, who died 29th of March 1945, her husband James, who died the 24th of March 1979. You can just see part of the hand is missing there of the statue, and the other side. But look at the hats they used to wear back in the day. The uniform. Here also lie the remains of his eldest daughter, Elizabeth Matthews, who departed this life the 23rd of October 1866, aged 40 years old, and his daughter Susan, who died the 23rd of December 1887, aged 46. And this is the family vault of James Gaynor, Middle Abbey Street. Beautiful grave here with Mary holding Jesus in her arms. Jolie, treasured memories of a very special and much loved father and mother. Frank died New Year's Eve 1992, and Lily died Christmas Day 1997. Wow. So Frank died New Year's Eve and his wife died on Christmas Day, and there's a photo of the beautiful couple there. And we have this headstone beside it here. Keen and Jolie, in loving memory of. It's just in here off the walkway, guys, is this really beautiful monument here. And you can see the legs at the bottom of it there. And I'm going to try and read the inscription on it. To the memory of Joseph Jr. de Ramsalt, who departed this life the 28th of January 1878, aged 74. Monica, his wife, affectionate remembrance, erected this monument on June the 26th, 1885. Wow. And you can just see the top of it there. The stonework. And that is amazing. Absolutely stunning, isn't it? You can see the letter A and the cross. Now just near this one here then we have this beautiful monument here also. And this is to the memory of the Reverend Thomas Byrne. And you can see there's parts actually missing off it here. That would have been a cross. Now we can see the chalice. But the name is on it there, the Reverend Thomas Byrne of St. Mary's, Irish town, it says, I think, died the 12th of February 1859 in the 48th year of his age and 21st of his sacred ministry. Now this headstone here is unusual looking because I haven't seen any other headstone in the cemetery that looks like this, and it's just that sandstone colour, very yellow looking. And the other side of it here, there's no inscription unfortunately on it. And you can just see there the way the colours are coming in with the urn in the middle of it there. Now, and just over here guys, we will get around to a lot today and show you as much as I can. It's an absolutely gorgeous cemetery. As I said, I was here 1 year ago roughly, and you can see Daniel O'Connell's tower there, the final resting place of the man himself, the man who founded the cemetery and also founded Golden Bridge Cemetery in Dublin, and said that anybody with any religion could be buried in the cemetery, or people of non-religion could be buried here also. So here we have a beautiful one just behind the one I was reading there. You can see the statue here on it, the stonework in it. Fabulous looking. Looks like she's holding looks like a feather in her hand. We'll see, can we get an inscription on the other side? They are faded away, a lot of these ones here with the writing on them. They're weather worn, unfortunately. The other side is not great. You can see where the cement has faded away and broken here. And then on the other side of it then we have another little statue holding flowers and a little book in her hand. And the face has worn away on that. But they do have these beautiful designs, and they look like a lion's head on the four sides of the monument there, as you can see. A lion or some form of animal on it. This is a beautiful part of the cemetery here in Glasnevin. It's kind of off the beaten track, and there's a number of tombs here and vaults. And you can see the leaves are falling in parts. This one here is a really big monument, and it looks like there's a bird feeder just left on top of it there. Looks like someone left it. This is for to the memory of Reverend Henry O'Brien, late curate of the parish of St. Lawrence, Dublin, who died on the 10th day of March 1855 in the 27th year of his age. So he was a young man, only 27, and in the 3rd year of his priesthood. So 3 years in the priesthood, and he was only 27 years old. Unfortunately, he passed away young, but they've built a fine monument in his memory. You can see how much detail has gone into these monuments here in Glasnevin. They're superb. It's Victorian style. You can see a beautiful one here. The family vault of John Fitzpatrick of Thomas Street. And a lot of them here, you can see, have their, like the name of the street where they lived is inscribed. John Fitzpatrick, who departed this life on the 8th day of November 1851, aged 86. And a beautiful monument, carved stone. There's a line on it there. We can see a dragon. And the shield, the family crest. And it's just the same on the other side there, the family vault of John Fitzpatrick. And we have a William John Fitzpatrick, a true friend of your charity, pray for the repose of his soul. So that's a beautiful old one there as well. And all those beautiful trees here in Glasnevin Cemetery. This one here, erected by William Keating of Athy, in memory of his beloved son, the Reverend John Keating, who departed this life the 20th of April 1851, aged 42 years old. The Lamb of God is on that. So you have all these beautiful ones here. There's a tall monument there, pillar, urn on top. Now I believe that the section that you're looking at the moment here, where you see the trees that go around, they kind of start there and they're going all the way around in a formation. So I was speaking to a man yesterday, and he's a local in the area here, and he does research here in Glasnevin Cemetery. And he was telling me that this was the old part of the old church in the cemetery here in Glasnevin. And you could see the formation of the trees. So the trees would have been in a circle formation, and the old church would have been around that area. So this is ground that I'm standing on at the moment, is the old part of Glasnevin Cemetery, and it would have been added on then up above later on. Wow, guys, I just spotted one in here, so we'll go in and have a look. And it's this headstone over here that has been taken over by nature. And the tree, just look at that. We have this really large tree here, and it's like the tree is actually holding the headstone up. Look at that. Wrapped itself around the headstone here. And you can just see in the back. And the one next door to it here is actually the same kind of way. The tree has embedded itself into the headstone here. And erected for the memory of Mrs. Mary O'Neill, the 7th of September 1835, age 40 years old. But look at that, guys. It's amazing, isn't it? Nature. How nature can take over things. And you've seen that before, where it kind of trees wrap themselves around old railings as well, wrought iron railings and stuff. And the Lamb of God is on it, so we'll read it while we're here. So it's erected by Richard Rhett, whose beloved wife Eleanor lies underneath. Down by her side he intends to lie. She departed this life on the 10th of March 1847, age 64. Her daughter Margaret died the 7th of March 1832, age 28. And her grandchildren, who died young, and the above Richard, died the 12th of July 1855, age 75. So it's amazing how the tree has done that in nature. Look at this one here with the black and gold coloured railing around it. Some holly inside. But this one here is beautiful. Look at this. The name on this is James Charles Behan, who died December the 14th, 1850. And just on the front of it there you can see, his angel shall guard thee. So we have a man there, and it's like he has two little children by his side. And an angel up above there as well. And it's faded away, but you can kind of get the idea. But if you look around here, you can see all the lovely leaves that have fallen on the ground in the different colours. So we have all those different types of headstones all in around there. So I'm going to keep moving around, guys. There's another area of the cemetery I want to visit. So there's a lovely one in here, guys, with an urn on top of it. And this one looks like actually the veil that's going over the urn here, the drape, looks very realistic, like it's just hanging on top of it there, very light looking. And we'll read this. It says, in fond memory of Kate Fitzgerald, who died the 28th of May 1892, the dearly beloved wife of Charles Clark Fitzgerald, JP, so that's Justice of the Peace. Also, Charles Clark Fitzgerald died the 3rd of November 1904, age 81 years old. Right, so we have this obelisk style one here, and it's sacred to the memory of Captain Henry Quill, late 32nd Foot. He served with his corps to the close of the Peninsular War. At the siege of Burgos, his leg was shattered and his left eye carried away by a ball. He received 2 gunshot wounds in the chest at Waterloo. One of the balls fractured the collarbone and penetrated the lung, in which it became embedded. The long train of suffering ensuing and the hemorrhage it induced ultimately proved fatal. 26th of March 1849. So that's amazing there, guys. Just a bit of detail there, that inscription of how he was wounded at the Battle of Waterloo. Now, this huge monument just you see here in front, it's a vault, I think, and we'll go and read the inscription on that. There's a bit of a story behind this one, and I'll tell you as we go around. And it says, pray for the soul of Patrick Conley, who died October, it looks like there, 1867, in the 21st year of his age. And you can see the cut stonework there going around it. And it's a huge, huge monument. And we have, Lord have mercy on the soul of Patrick Conley, who departed this life the 10th of July 1861, aged 70 years old. So that's the final resting place of Patrick Conley, and you can just see the huge steps that go down into the vault, and the vault is blocked up at the moment, but you can just see there an example of how tall that is, that monument. And Patrick Conley was actually a rag and bone man, and the door is blocked up there. And the story goes that Patrick and there was a family, when he died, there was a bit of a dispute with the family of who would get his money when he passed away. So they actually left it up to a judge to decide, and the judge banged the hammer and said that any of money or monies that he had left in his life would go towards building this monument here as his final resting place. So none of his family got a penny of money from his death. So all his money went on this monument, and it was decided by the judge. So there's an interesting one again, guys. So I'm happy actually that they spent all the money on this monument, because it just goes to show the greed and what goes on in wills and people looking for money and everything like that in life. So rest in peace, Patrick Conley. Lovely angel in here. Jesus and the beautiful angel carvings on it there. Erected by Mary Donnelly in memory of her father, Christopher Doyle, who departed this life 24th of January 1876, and Mother Anne, who died in 1882. Beautiful Celtic crosses here in Glasnevin Cemetery. You can see there in the background. Dr. John Joseph Aloysius O'Connor died in 1919, aged 28. Wow, very young. 28 years old, a doctor. Sacred Heart here, we have Jesus. Huge statue here. Have mercy on the soul of Michael Stephen O'Reilly, who died the 24th of December 1898, aged 21, and his mother Delia O'Reilly, 1904, aged 52. And just in the background, guys, there we have a beautiful squirrel. Look at that. Just at that headstone. And there's a number of those here in Glasnevin Cemetery, much like the ones when I was in London. You could see a lot of squirrels there as well. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? Right, guys, so we're going to go over here to the final resting place over here of Brendan Behan. Well, sure a lot of you have heard the name Brendan Behan. And I'll tell you a little bit more about Brendan, but I'll show you the headstone here, and that's the final resting place, 1923 to 1961. So it's coming up very close, I think, to Brendan's birthday. He would have been, I think, around February, 9th of February. I'm not quite sure. I think it's the 9th of February. He would have been 100 years old, Brendan Behan. But that's his final resting place, just there.
Brendan Francis Aidan Behan, christened Francis Behan, who was born on the 9th of February 1923, was an Irish poet, short story writer, novelist, playwright and Irish Republican, activist who wrote in both English and Irish. He was named by Irish Central as one of the greatest Irish writers of all time. Brendan was born in Dublin into a staunchly Republican family, becoming a member of the IRA's youth organisation, Fine Éireann, at the age of 14. There was also a strong emphasis on Irish history and culture in his home, which meant he was steeped in literature and patriotic ballads from an early age. At 16 years old, Brendan joined the IRA, which led to his serving time in a Borstal youth prison in the United Kingdom and imprisonment in Ireland. In 1954, Brendan's first play, The Quare Fellow, was produced in Dublin. It was well received. However, it was in the 1956 production at Joan Littlewood's theatre workshop in Stratford, London, that gained Behan a wider reputation. This was helped by a famous drunken interview on BBC television with Malcolm Muggeridge in 1958. By the early 1960s, Brendan reached the peak of his fame. He spent increasing amounts of time in New York, spending time with people including Harpo Marx and Arthur Miller, and was followed by a young Bob Dylan. However, this newfound fame did nothing to aid his health, for his work with his alcoholism and diabetes medical conditions continued to deteriorate. A bronze likeness of Brendan's face was stolen from the vacant opening in 1984. It was restored in 2014. Brendan died on the 20th of March 1964 after collapsing at the Harbour Lights Bar in Elkin Street, Dublin. Following his death, his widow had a son, Podge Behan, with Cathal Goulding, Chief of Staff of the Irish Republican Army and the official IRA. Behan had a one-night stand in 1961 with Valerie Danby Smith, who was Ernest Hemingway's personal assistant, and later married his son, Dr. Gregory Hemingway. 9 months later, Valerie gave birth to a son she named Brendan. Brendan Behan died 2 years later, having never met his son.
Right guys, so I'll wrap the video up here in Glasnevin Cemetery in Dublin. Thanks very much for coming along today in this historical walk, looking at all these monuments and graves and final resting places of people here. If you like this kind of content, please subscribe to the channel. Give the video a thumbs up and hit the notification bell. The notification bell lets you know when I upload another video. So for me here, take care guys, and I'll catch you all on the next adventure.